find out what your kids are up to. Don't let them do what my son was doing.
When Francis Romano discovered his teenage son Joseph was part of a criminal network, it was too late.
I get a phone call, 4 o'clock in the morning, he's been shot dead. It's the saddest news I've ever heard in my life.
In 2024, the 19-year-old was shot and killed after he was ordered to carry out a home invasion. Now, Francis has this warning to teenagers who are foot soldiers of criminal syndicates.
I tell you now, some of you young blokes, you're going to end up either dead or your friends are going to end up dead.
Joseph Romano was a skilled junior footballer. At 16, his life took a turn when he made new friends and started staying out late.
He used to tell me he used to play pool with him and that some of his mates would raid houses and stuff, and I didn't know what they were doing. Obviously, they were hired to go and terrorise some people.
Police say Joseph was armed and given instructions on encrypted app Signal to break into a house in Donnybrook in Melbourne's north with 2 other men. Inside the home were a pregnant woman and a man who police say had links to organised crime. He fatally shot Joseph in the chest.
And I don't want to see parents go through the same thing I did.
Prosecutors dropped charges against the man who shot Joseph on the grounds he had a good case to argue self-defence. During the coronial inquest into Joseph's death, police produced encrypted messages found on his phone that discussed equipment needed for the burglary, like clothes, gloves, axes, and a fuel can. In another chat, an unknown user discussed providing Joseph with a firearm. Further analysis revealed a conversation about the collection of a Toyota Kluger, which was a stolen vehicle used in the home invasion.
In recent times, we've seen a significant growth in crime as a service, for example. We've seen this play out in the illicit tobacco environment, certainly with the hospitality arson attacks down in Melbourne, through the illicit drug trade.
Since April, there have been dozens of arson attacks on Melbourne businesses, many of them carried out by teenagers who have been arrested and charged. Those cases have been heard in the Children's Court. Lawyers for some of the teenagers say they have extremely low IQ and intellectual disabilities, and that these kids are being exploited by criminal syndicates via encrypted apps.
A lot of these kids who are committing these very serious arson offences, it's their first crime.
Dr. Adam Deakin is a child and adolescent forensic psychiatrist with 20 years' experience in Victoria's justice system. He meets with over a dozen youth offenders a week.
The children seem to be recruited through social media and applications. So some of the encrypted apps, Telegram and Discord and Signal and the like, but also through gaming, kids playing Fortnite and Roadblocks and the like. There's different means they seem to be able to locate these kids.
They'll just message them?
I assume that's how it starts, as sort of innocently as it appears, that children are engaging in communication with people who are anonymous. They're not necessarily recognised as adults, and a conversation flows, and then fairly rapidly it leads to them being drawn into or participating in an offering to engage in the crime.
He says there's been an increase in vulnerable children with no criminal history and learning difficulties being recruited.
They're exploiting them, they're deceiving them, they're conning them, they're luring them into behaviour that they otherwise would not even have considered if not for the attraction of money and some sort of level of notoriety and this sort of false sense of respect and regard.
Do these kids know why they're doing these tasks or crimes?
I think at a level they know what they're doing, why they're doing it. I don't think they really have a level of sophistication to their thinking. A lot of these kids, as we know, have got these learning disabilities. They think quite differently about the world they're in. They'll be thinking in the moment. They'll be not really thinking forward or in terms of the consequences of their actions.
They'll understand the specific act that they're looking to undertake, but in many cases they're unlikely to have any knowledge about how that feeds into a broader system and what that might lead to.
Adam Meyer from the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission says keeping up with criminal networks is a challenge for law enforcement.
And in many ways, we're in a technology arms race with organised crime. We see them using a range of commercially available platforms and apps. Unfortunately, these organised crime groups use it to hide behind that anonymity to undertake their activities.
Last month, in a children's court hearing, police revealed a user named Iceman ordered the firebombing of alcohol distribution centre 80 Proof in April. In a chat called Jobs on encrypted app Signal, Iceman messaged a teen, "You want to make a quick 1K?" They replied, "Yeah, done. What I got to do? If the job is taken, I'll do one tomorrow." After discussing the location of the job, the car they'll use, and petrol, Iceman said, "This factory you're doing is full of vodka and alcohol. Let everything catch on fire." Victoria Police said in court they don't know the identity of Iceman.
One of the challenges with end-to-end encrypted applications is that the providers of those platforms do not have access to the content as well. So very much like law enforcement, they're dependent on people alerting them and notifying them and advising them of that criminal activity.
Rob Nelson is the AFP's Covert and Technical Operations Commander. The AFP is working with Victoria Police to uncover the mastermind behind recent arson attacks across Melbourne.
Are they beyond the reach of law enforcement? I would say no, and we've demonstrated that time and time again. For many years, we saw criminals gravitate towards dedicated encrypted comms platforms, and we worked very successfully with our global law enforcement partners.
Dr. Deacon says it is worth considering a ban on encrypted apps for teenagers, similar to the under-16s social media ban.
I would support at least looking into that and researching the potential benefits. I think prohibition at some level needs to be exercised given the profound risk with this particular cohort.
I think it'd be an oversimplification to say that it's as simple as banning the use of these applications. Because they do and are designed for legitimate purposes.
That was one of his birthdays. He would have been probably 10 or 12 years old there. I miss him. People have got to face facts. Take a risk. They don't have to show their faces, but they've got to speak up. You've got to find these criminals that are doing what they're doing. I mean, it's just wrong.
Facing a future without his beloved Joseph, Francis Romano remains angry with the people who recruited his son.
I think you're the lowest people on earth to do what you're doing, and I hope one day, karma's a good thing, but I hope the police get hold of you.